Hello, everybody. We are in direct from Annecy with Philippe, Flore, Iván from PROA, Philippe and Flore from Wallimage, and I from Pictanovo. To answer to your question, we have just recorded a short presentation of the project Alice, and we will let you discover this presentation, and perhaps you will have some time to ask some question, and we will answer at the end of the presentation. You've got the field of questions on the right side. If you need to ask any question, we will answer. Enjoy, and see you after the presentation. Hello, I'm Godefroy Vujicic, CEO of Pictanovo, based in Hauts-de-France region. Let me introduce you Alice, Animation League for Increased Cooperation in Europe. Alice explores avenues for interregional collaborations in the animation sector to leverage the sector's potential for growth and innovation and to foster the development of a pan-European world-leading industry. The project's partners involved are 6: Wallimage from Belgium, Pictanovo from France, PROA Audiovisual Producers Federation from Spain, Puglia region from Italy, Ministry of Culture of Slovak Republic, and Regional Development Agency from Poland. The organization of the work is structured around 4 working groups. Pictanovo is especially involved in the financing and legal one. We will explain you today what we have already done. Philippe Reynaert will tell us about the Wonderland concept. Today, Mar will present you the importance of mapping out the animation industry and create a methodology in Europe. I let the partners explaining you with a discussion on how Alice intends to boost animation in Europe, followed by a live question and answer. It will present Alice's proposals to foster co-productions and how they fit into the goals of the media program in 3 interviews with Mrs. Sáez of PROA, Mr. Reynaert of Wallimage, and Mrs. Recalde as a special guest of media program.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the special presentation of the Alice project here in MIFA. My name is Jordi B, and I'm the chairman of PROA, the Federation of Producers Associations based in Spain. PROA is the responsible of the Catalan part of the Alice project, and it was clear for us that we wanted to take part in it, as we are a federation that has 7 different associations. 5 of them are sectorial and 2 are territorial. One of those is ProAnimats. ProAnimats has opened the path to collaboration within Europe. It's part ProAnimats of Animation in Europe and has showed us how to work together and to build bonds alongside with our European partners. So in PROA, we were certain that we wanted to be part of this project because we have to understand the situation, we have to tackle with the problems, and we have to build a better future for all of us. One of the aims of the Alice project that has been developed and worked hard by PROA is the mapping of the animation industry. So I will now pass on to you, to our coordinator and responsible for this project, Sáez. Thank you very much.
Ms. Sáez, thank you so much for joining us today. You're representing PROA today, and you've been actively involved in the Alice project over the past 2 years. So you're an animation expert, really, through the many responsibilities you've had in many organizations. In Catalonia, you're the advisor to the General Director of PROA, which is the Federation of Audiovisual Producers, and you're managing the Association of Animation Producers, which is called PROANIMATS, as well as the Association of Video Game Developer and Producers, which is called DEVICAT. And both entities are federated into PROA. And at a European level, you're the General Secretary of the European Federation of Animation Producers Associations, which is animation in Europe. So you have you know a lot about animation, but today we are talking specifically about a work you've led over the past 2 years within the framework of ALICE. And the work is about mapping the animation industry. So can you tell us why mapping the animation industry is so essential and why it hasn't been done already?
Okay, hi. I'm really happy being here, sharing these minutes with you and with all our audience. And why mapping the animation industry is so important, because animation industry is so important. The animation industry is a sector resilient, committed, international, that generates high qualified jobs, stable employment, and youth occupation. The animation welcomes diversity and can lead the digital vanguard. Animation, it's also an industry that localized and flexible and can generate additional activities based on IP in form of cross-media products or licenses. The animation sector could offer to a territory valuable assets as economic, cultural, educational, related to employment, technological. In 2017, Creative Europe Media presented its animation plan for Europe, and the challenges for animation sector faced in this document were retaining talent, the conservation of IP, the creation and promotion of an European animation brand, the sector's access to funding. To achieve these challenges, European animation needs to have a more favorable development framework all over its entire value chain. And to give answer to these main challenges, it was imperative to understand all the stages involved in the animation value chain. That's why we understand to design a methodology to mapping the whole sector was an indispensable tool to enforce and promote the animation sector. And when you say it has been done yet, it's not exact. This animation plan based its recommendations on the dialogue held between the European Commission and the different agents of the sector, but also with information found in the 2015 publication by the European Audiovisual Observatory mapping the animation industry in Europe. We have tried to propose a methodology that could be adapted to any territory, offering the same information and allowing a benchmark between them, territories. The model could be used by policymakers to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the current policies related to animation along its entire value chain, improving them and implementing new ones that reinforce the sector. It will allow to decisions to be taken that favor them to, well, in several levels. harmonizing the training business access, improving public and private finance tool, identifying the demand and the new models of animation consumption. In addition, if many European territories implement the model, offering a complete map of animation in Europe, it can help to identify co-producers, the better territories to hide services or to look for talent and so on. We believe that our proposal will increase the global competitiveness of European animation.
What were the indicators that you chose for this methodology, and how did you choose them?
Well, that's a very interesting process because, as you know, we work closely with the Ministry of Culture of Slovak Republic. In the beginning of Alice, both PROA and the Ministry of Culture of Slovak Republic had expressed their desire to carry out a study of the animation sector within both territories, well, each one in its territory. And both entities were aware that the action aimed to improvement could not be implemented if they didn't know the sector stage of maturity and the needs that should be met in the short, medium, and long term. So it was funny because our first discussion light our main challenge that was to find and to establish clear and common definitions to better understand what was going to be studied and how it should be structured. We try to make a main division between main activities and support activities. And the main activities for us integrate the stages related to the generation of audiovisual animation products and their launch onto the market. The support activities were defined as the ones including the stages which create the necessary conditions to make the European animation sector grow. In all these stages, we have listed all the variables and indicators that we consider must be taken in account to have a deeply understand of each stage. And we have made a deep research, and all our reference sources are included on the document.
So can you let us know where is the work at now? Like, is this methodology available anywhere, or do we have to wait still a bit?
Currently, we have finalized the model of studying of the value chains of animation sector. And at this moment, we have it available in Spanish, Catalan, and English. Please note that when we said we have finalized it, we mean we offer you this first proposal. But we are wide open to discuss and incorporate any good ideas that the sector wants to share with us. Now that hopefully we will receive feedback from many experts, we are completely sure that we will discover that there are variables and indicators that are missed and others that we have incorporated unnecessarily. We have designed it for animation, but maybe in the future this document could have, I don't know, versions. Could be the model for studying the value chains of the video game sectors, okay, or model for studying the value chains of the real image audiovisual sector. Just maybe adapting it. But as I said, the document is available in English, Spanish, and Catalan. All the ALICE partners have received it yet. And if anyone is interested, just contact PROA and we will send it to them.
The work is done. Now you you'll get feedback, and then what is the next step? Like, how, I guess you plan to implement this methodology soon?
The next step is money. Our first challenge will be to raise funds to implement the model in Catalonia. If we achieve only this step, that will be fantastic, because it will give us a lot of information to create white papers and databases, both very useful tools for at any stage of the animation value chain. It will help to identify strengths and areas for improvement, to design efficiency plans for the growth of the entire sector in Catalonia. But we hope that other territories also want to implement it. Imagine that the same model could be implemented at the same time in several territories. Imagine that we could compare the results, identifying successful formulas in some territories that we could implement in others. Imagine, in addition, designing an efficiency plan in each territory, but also an action plan at European level. Therefore, our idea is also to disseminate the model among stakeholders of all over Europe, asking for their support as part of this more ambitious action plan that we suggest in the document.
So thank you so much for your time. It was.
Thank you so much. We will be there.
Hi, Mr. Reynaert. Thank you so much for joining us today. If I may give a quick introduction for those who would not know you. You've devoted your career to films. You've been a journalist. You've been a TV host. And most notably, you were the head of Wallonia's film fund, Wallimage, for 20 years. So, and over the last 2 years, you've been actively involved in the ALICE project. So can you let us know a bit more about your role at ALICE?
Yes, it's a pity to hear that I was the head of Wallimage for 20 years. It's make me older. But yes, I have the chance that the wonderful lady who is now the CEO of Wallimage asked me to continue to be the lead of this wonderful project called ALICE. It was an idea born 2 years ago to ask the ERDF to give us an Interreg plan in order to meet a lot of questions we have in mind concerning the animation sector.
I quote you, your ambition is to turn Europe into a wonderland for animation. So it sounds absolutely great. Can you tell us a bit more about what you mean by this?
Yes, first, you're right. We work together with the Lille region, who is at the initiative of the meeting today. So thank you, Godefroy. We have created a working group into ALICE called Financial and Legal. We wanted to find solutions to this problem that we have been talk about a lot of time, and that any participant of the MIFA are familiar with. Issues related to the circulation of talent and territorial obligation that often complicate co-production. So thanks to the support of Interreg, we were able to surround us with huge specialists, meaning for us a law firm specialized in audiovisual, the advocate of Taylor Wessing in Paris. And we consolidated 3 tools. First of all, a label, then a powerful database, but I prefer to say a smart directory, and a co-financing mechanism for something very important, the creation of marketing presentation packages for films or series in development. And as a tribute for Alice, because it's the name of the group, we packet it all under the name Wonderland.
You mentioned a smart directory. So it's a database. I understand it's a database. What do you mean by smart? Why is it smart?
Good question. As everybody knows now, we have the chance to have in our association a Catalan member, which is an association of animation producers. And they were the first to underline the necessity of a mapping of the competence, and they explained it better than me. But inspired by their work, we try to imagine a participatory database that would make possible to identify all the skills available in each of our regions. Our ambition is that this Alice Smart Directory will be very precise on the real skills in every studio, and that it can become a real tool for any producer in Europe to quickly find the subcontractors he needs. If what I will call a territory, it can be a region, a department, a city, or why not a little country. So if a territory that has an animation tool for financing films or series wants to become a Wonderland, it will have to make the request to Alice by filling a form in which it describes itself, but also quotes all the animation studio present on this territory. Second step, this territory must convince at least 80% of the studio to fulfill the smart directory. And then automatically he receives his label.
And I understand you've created a funding tool. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, the idea is to propose to regions that are labeled Wonderland region all the tools they need to launch calls for pre-production, let's say development, and we will propose to 2 regions with the label to join their forces to finance those calls. We want to finance for 50% the fabrication of marketing presentation tools, because we want that the project that we will support have all the chance to be successful and to go to production after this step of pre-production.
What can be financed is the pitching material.
Pilot, the Bible, the graphic Bible,
yes.
the text Bible, all those things you need if you want to go to Cartoon Network or if you want to go to the MIFA. You know, the idea is just that the real co-production are beginning in the pre-production. And so we want to support this kind of things. What we can provide to the region who wants to launch this type of calls, it's a kit with all what they need, reglementation, but also the contracts they will need between the 2 regions, but also with the producer who wants to apply. what is the counterpart for the region is that the producer will build this marketing tools kit into the region, associating 2 studios, 1 in each region. This is the point. Everything is linked, in fact. But a region can ask for the label and stop there. It's already a good marketing tool. But if they want to go further, yes, we can provide those tools to build calls for pre-production of projects. If everything is going well during this pre-production or development phase, there is a big surprise for the producer. He can go also in production, asking the same 2 territories to support the production, and the territories will automatically support the production for 20% of the cost involved in the regions. The important word is automatically.
Yes.
Because, because no more commission, no more jury. It's a long-term collaboration. We are in plan to write a white book with all the details. Of course, it's impossible in this kind of presentation to enter into the details, but everything will be written for the month of July. And guess what, Flore? This marketing tool, being an accelerator for co-production, we decide to call it the white marketing rabbit, like in Alice again.
So, Philippe, I have a last question for you. What would you say to a region who would be reluctant to take part in the Wonderland?
I should say, why? There are only advantage to join with us. And it could be so nice to build together this European dream of competitive and diverse market for animation. So we have 1 year more to convince everybody with the Alice Interreg group. And so we will see you back in the next MIFA in 1 year with a Wonderland label, I hope.
Thank you so much, Philippe. Hello, Ms. Recalde. It's an honor for us to have you today. Thank you so much for making the time, and thank you so much for your interest in our Alice project. Ms. Recalde, you've been the head of the unit in charge of the Creative Media Program for 7 years. My first question is, how do you see COVID affecting the creative economy in Europe during the next few years?
Well, first of all, Flore, thanks for inviting me to be here with you today. I'm really delighted because you are doing a great job. And I think it's good to have projects like the one you are implementing. And I think they are particularly important in the aftermath of COVID, because COVID has had a significant negative impact in all our industries. It has been a sort of tsunami. Some of the challenges were already present before the fragmentation of the industry, the growing importance of the platforms. But COVID has accelerated those changes and has, to a certain extent, fragilized the industry. So from the very beginning, through the media program, we tried to do our best with the means we had to help the industry recover in the very short term. But the mission of Creative Europe program in the future will be to help recover even further, because COVID is taking slightly, it's been longer than we thought initially. So there is a need to really help with grants, but also with investment. We need to inject liquidity in the industry to help the SMEs and to help the companies weather the storm. That's very important. But second, which is equally important, is to help the industry transform. there is a really need to support and accompany the transformation of the audiovisual industry, make it greener, make it more digital, and also to connect with the audiences and with the market that is really evolving at a speed light. Luckily, we have an increased budget. And also what we are also is mobilizing other EU programs in support of the audiovisual industry, such as InvestEU.
How the new program articulate with the animation plan for Europe?
Well, the animation plan for Europe had a strong focus on talent, skills, audiences, a global ambition, and also access to finance. And these are all elements that we have covered under Creative Europe, and the last point on access to finance, also through InvestEU, but in a rather joined up manner. So we think that there is a very, very good synergy and correspondence between the plan and what we are proposing under Creative Europe. Perhaps what I would like now to emphasize is that we will put much more accent that we put in on the past on transnational collaboration across the value chain, but also across countries, because that's the only way through collaboration to be able to be competitive at European level, but also at global stage. And also one important dimension of the new program is the stronger emphasis on transnational content creation. I will perhaps come back to this. So this element of collaboration, both in terms of new partnerships, but also in the content itself, it's something that has been enhanced compared to the previous program. And the last point that I would really like to share with you, which I think it's particularly important for animation, is the focus on innovation. We know this, the animation industry is particularly innovative. I always say that animation is where you can actually link tech industry and the content industry, the creativity and the more technical elements. And this bridging between content and tech is absolutely essential for the future. So I'm very confident that the animation sector is really well placed to take up and benefit from all these opportunities of the revamped Creative Europe program.
You know that the ALICE project is all about facilitating collaboration, and I had an interview earlier with Mr. Reynaert, who talked about the Wonderlands, which is a concept that ALICE developed to facilitate early collaborations in the development phase of projects. So I'm also very interested in knowing your, the creative media program's approach to development.
Well, if you started already looking at collaboration at the very early stage, I can say that you were a bit of a trendsetters, because this is actually what we would like to do through the new media program. We will introduce a new action that will foster collaboration at development stage. It's a new co-development action that will be launched. I think the first call will be launched in the coming days, so stay tuned. And I would think that the animation sector is particularly well placed to benefit from this new opportunity, because co-creation and even co-development are well-established practices for the animation sector that perhaps is less the case of other segments of the audiovisual industry. So we think that we really wanted, as I said, to take this collaborative approach upstream in the value chain from the beginning till the end. So this is a new action, and we think that it can really help at the very beginning of the earliest stages of the creative process to shape, to create those partnerships that really lead to strong co-productions with the potential to reach audiences in Europe and beyond.
Yeah, we're totally aligned on this. I have a last question for you before we wrap up. It's about training. Training is also something we worked on at ALICE. Training, first of all, to train high quality professionals, but also animation is all about lifelong training. So I'm also interested in knowing what's the creative media's approach to training and how training will be supported in the next years?
Well, training was one very successful action that we have implemented for many, many years and will continue. We don't call it training anymore. We call it now skills development. Why? Because in our view, it's more fit to the reality of the industry. Training and physical training is one important element, but we could also think of virtual training activities about mock, massive online courses and mentoring. Mentoring actions will be particularly promoted in the context of the Future Media Program. And I personally believe that mentoring is extremely useful and extremely beneficial for young talent. Yeah. I think it's important in the new program that we not only think about established professionals that want to upgrade and upskill their knowledge. It's very important that we find a way to open up the access in the industry to young talent. And this mentoring could be a wonderful way to do it. Under the training activities, we are also very mindful of some horizontal priorities, such as greening. Greening, it's super important for the whole Creative Europe, and I would like to encourage the animation industry also how they can become a bit more sustainable and reduce CO2 emissions. And under training, we will also like to promote more diversity and inclusiveness. What we mean is that we would like perhaps to see more women working in the animation sector. And we would like to see talents coming from backgrounds that perhaps have more difficulties to make it and be successful in this industry. So yes, training is here to stay, but with some novelties that I hope are also interesting for the work you are developing in Alice.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to you. Thanks, and keep going. I think we need more projects like Alice in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day. Hi, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed these interviews as much as I did, and that you have a better sense of what we do at Alice and how we can help. Now the floor is yours. So please feel free to ask all the questions you may have. Thank you.
Hey, that's it. No, we are live and alive. And so, like Flore said, I hope you enjoy. Personally, we really enjoy the intervention of Lucia Recalde, because it was so nice to hear that the media program is totally on the same thinking that we develop in Alice. So it's promising for the rest of the adventure. The program Alice is ending the first phase, the phase of the research will end at the end of July. But after this, we have to speak with you about what we can do with the recommendation. All our findings will be in a digest, in a white book, let's say, and you will have the occasion to download this white book in the middle of the summer, and of course at the autumn, the fall. So there is a possibility to ask some question, and we already have some question, and one about the impact of the COVID crisis. So maybe Iván, because Iván is a producer, and I don't say that Iván got the COVID, but the sector got the COVID. So maybe you can explain a little bit how you react to this situation.
Well, thank you, Philippe, for the introduction, and hello, everyone. First of all, I have to say that I'm really glad to be here and really glad to be part of this project of Alice, because I truly believe that collaboration between European regions and companies is the future. It's already the present, but for sure it will be the future. So I'm really happy with this initiative. And now answering to the question of Daniel, like, what do you think are the priorities that COVID crisis now requires to be taken to support and how it affected animation? That's a difficult question. I can explain you my experience as producer, and I have to say that I think animation was quite resilient in that way. So we were able to continue the production of the shows that were already on when the crisis hit, the COVID crisis hit, and we were quite, let's say, smart at adapting to remote work, because we were already doing that. Indeed, co-productions are based on that, on different people in different places working remotely. So this is a trend that we are already on. So I guess the COVID didn't affect so much animation production, but what did affect is the consumption and the way kids consume and the way broadcasters might understand the content. So I would say that I think, first of all, we all need to be aware that this remote work is here and it will be for a long period, and we have to get, let's say, the tools to make it really efficient, like digitalization, which is something that Lucia was also telling in as priorities for Europe. So this is part of the work, but also having a stronger relationship with broadcasters and really new tools for financing and new tools to really develop and promote also the works. But that's beyond COVID. I mean, COVID is just one factor, but not the main issue in that. That would be my answer. And I don't know if there are more questions here. Let me check. There's a question for Philippe.
Thank you, Ivan. Yes, we have a good question from Oban. She apologized because she don't have the access to a part of the presentation, and we have this news that some people have no occasion to connect. So it's a pity, but this presentation was pre-recorded, so you will have the occasion to see it again. I think in 1 week, the people of the MIFA are very well organized, and so you will have the chance to hear our beautiful speech. But the question of Oban is very precise. She's asking if the development program we recommend can be accumulated with the Media Development Fund. And the answer is yes, of course. We are not at all in concurrency with the media program. Of course, we are big fan of the new media program, and we hope that we can co-develop also some projects. But we also have to add that Alice was really a think tank. So we have this idea of a development project, but we have to build it now. And it will be built in the next year. And so please stay connected with us. We have a wonderful newsletter. You can have. We will put in the Q&A the way to connect to the newsletter, and so yes, let's co-develop all together. It's the future for Europe. And thank you for the question, Oban.
Philippe, I think there's another question about the smart directory.
Really?
For you.
Where is it?
Daniel was asking, can you tell us what's the advantage for territories to join the smart directory?
Oh, a lot of, you know, there are already database about animation, of course. But this idea of a smart directory is a little bit different. It's not only to put some names of studio or producer. It will be very fine because we will ask to the studio who wants to be on this database to specify any competence they have, any skills. For example, saying we can do rigging in 3D, or we can do layout, or we can do, and for every answer, we will ask to the studio to put the name of a production where they use this skill, and also a link to see something. So if we succeed to build this Alice Smart Directory, it will be very easy for a producer like Iván, for example. He's here, so I have to just put on this program. I want to know if there is a studio somewhere in Europe that can do this, this, and this for me. And it will have the answer automatically, seeing, I don't know, 4 or 5 studios somewhere in Europe. And then he can ask if the studios are based in a region with advantage, fiscal advantage, or with a very active fund for animation and so on. And so Iván will have a wonderful life at this time because he can find the subcontractors he really want to have. And anytime a region succeed to push the studio to answer the questionnaire, this region will have a label called the Wonderland label. Why Wonderland? Because we are a program called Alice, and so Alice in Wonderland was obvious. But also we really think that if we succeed to create 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Wonderlands in Europe, at the end of the day, all Europe will become a Wonderland for animation. And yes, I do believe it's a good strategy, and we are in plan to develop this strategy. Everybody is already working hard. Maybe Godefroy, who invited us today, can speak a little bit about what you are doing in the Hauts-de-France and the Lille region, because you are very active for animation since years.
Thank you, Philippe. Yes, we have a sector of animation quite well built with my predecessors, and an ecosystem very well organized for the moment. But we were really happy to participate to this program because it is the occasion to have to ask some question and to find new answers. And it was the occasion 3 years ago to come to Annecy and to announce a new program of accompaniment about écriture and development. We talk about with the region Hauts-de-France, and to stimulate the animation sector, because it is a point, and it was the part of our work and about our preoccupations since the beginning of the ALICE project to think about the stories. We have to work on it and to organize, because the story is the base of the animation, because it is the best way to propose a good project is a good story at the beginning. So we were thinking about this, and it was really interesting to work about all the topics we worked about. But I would like to say today how it's a pleasure to meet again for real in Annecy, because it was quite a strange period to have this 18 months, around 18 months, to work all together, but not to can have this great moments of share moments, and to be all together in the same room. It is another energy and another way to think and to work together, and to say how important it is to can share this moment today all together in Annecy, and to work something in a different way than the 18 months we just have to work actually. I don't know if there's another question.
There's a comment from Yen, who's saying he hopes that Scotland will be rejoining the European community and be part of ALICE. So maybe Philippe wants to tell a word of how he sees the next steps, and if there's any opportunity to extend the ALICE group.
Yes, of course. ALICE was a group created by 6 territories in Europe. I said territories because there was region like Hauts-de-France or Wallonia or Catalonia, but there was also a country. Slovakia was there as a country, is there as a country, and also a region in Poland. But for us, the first step will be this smart directory. And of course, this smart directory is focused on European studio, but can be used by any producer in the world, even Scottish. So you are the welcome, of course. And after that, if you want to join Europe, you are the welcome too. It depends that what you will do in the football game against the UK. It depends. Let's see.
If I may, on top of what Philippe was saying, I would say that the idea is, yes, to expand the ALICE program not only to the 6 original regions, but to other regions or countries or in Europe. And the way that this can be done is now the work that we will have to do in upcoming months. As Philippe was saying, ALICE is a think tank, so what we did was to think on the skeleton, on the tools, on which are the ways that we have to foster this collaboration. And now is the time of the dissemination of the results and to the application. And in order to apply those tools and to really expand it, then we will need to have some other partners on board and to see how this can be executed actually. So yeah, I also got another off-the-record question asking for that. So the answer is yes, the ALICE program is supposedly going to expand. That's the idea. And how we will work together on how to do that.
We have had the chance to have as the Catalan partner is not a public body. Events we represent and Mar that you saw and everybody you saw speaking English with a little Catalan accent are part of an association called PROA, and PROA is a federation of professional, and some are working animation. It's ProAnimat, I think. And so, but we have the chance that Iván and Mar are also involved in the European Federation of Animation Producer. So I have an important question for Iván. Can we ask you to be propagandist for for Alice in the next month?
Well, I think I am already, but yeah, obviously, as Philippe was mentioning, I am part of the board at Animation in Europe. That's the Federation of European Producers, and right now, if I'm not wrong, it groups around 23 different federations and associations in 16 countries in Europe. So that's one of the places where we can talk about cooperation. So yeah, I think I can speak out of Animation in Europe, saying that we will be more than happy to see how to collaborate with Alice, and the same way that we do with Creative Europe, which should be also a natural partner in here. So I'll be your spokesman, Philippe.
It was not a trap. I knew the answer, but it's good to hear it. So maybe, Flore, you can just say, because the time is running, what are the next steps? We will have a white book soon, and we want to be present in the fall. I knew the name, no?
Yes, so we are preparing a publication where we're going to sum up all the findings that we've found over the last few years, the last 2 years. And it's going to be, it won't be like a long, it's going to be more like like guidelines and a handbook. So it's supposed to be like very practical to help policymakers identify the challenge and find solutions like to improve their policies. So this publication is going to be released in the fall, and it's going to be accompanied with a very nice video that we think you'll like very much. So yeah, I think that's all. But like there's the website link of Alice in the chat. There's the link to the newsletter as well. So we hope you're gonna be, checking the news, and we hope to be in touch in the fall for the next steps. Thank you so much.
There are 10 seconds left. Godefroy can say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you, Philippe. Thank you, Flore. Thank you, Iván. Thank you, everybody, to be present in Annecy. Thank you on all the team of Annecy Festival and the MIFA, and see you soon in real for next step. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.